It's certainly a brighter day here now in Sussex, with patches of blue sky, and Danny Gabardoni was given a lovely reception from both sets of supporters.
He certainly was, and rightly so. You know, I think Brighton fans, Brighton as a club, are probably hugely proud of having a player you know, play so well at that level in a major tournament. To actually win a World Cup is something you dream of as a player. So you look quite shy there, didn't he, Alexis? I think he is that kind of character, but huge moment for the football club, and the confidence that's going to give him now individually as a player moving forward is going to be huge. So yeah, nice moment shared there between everyone.
If they're expecting him to lift it off the plinth, he disappointed. He just gave it a little rub, not once but twice, just a little stroke on the top.
He's seen too much of it.
That's true. He knew it wasn't the real thing. Anyway, here we are, BBC Radio 5 Live, and we're underway with Liverpool all in red, playing from right to left against a Brighton and Hove Albion side in their blue and white striped shirts and white shorts. And I'll run through the two teams for you. Brighton, from the team that beat Middlesbrough so convincingly in the FA Cup last week, have made 3 changes. McAllister comes in for his first start since his return from Qatar. Dunk is back in defence, and Sanchez replaces Steele in goal. So they line up with Sanchez. Gross is actually playing as the right back. Levi Colwill, Dunk and Estupiñán the back 4. March, Caicedo, McAllister, Lallana, Mitoma and Evan Ferguson, this young Irish striker who's done so well for them of late, to lead the line. For Liverpool, all in red, they make one change. With that unspecified injury, there is no Darwin Núñez. He's replaced by Oxlade-Chamberlain. Alisson is in goal, a back 4 of Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Matip and Robertson. Andrew Robertson, MBE, that is. Thiago, Fabinho and Henderson, with Cody Gakpo making his Premier League debut. Salah and Oxlade-Chamberlain. That is the Liverpool side. As March collects this ball on this near side, the right, but coming under pressure from Robertson. Liverpool looking to press, but Dunk just turns on the inside of Robertson. But there is an outstretched boot from Thiago that diverts the ball away. But again, we saw the early intentions from Liverpool to try and press as high as they can.
Well, nothing changes there from a Liverpool perspective, but they've not been very good at it this season, and they'll have to be good at it this afternoon, because Brighton do like to play through the lines. They're very confident. They'll use the goalkeeper Sanchez, Duncan, young Levi Colwill on that left side. They will see a lot of the ball. They'll look to play those little kind of triangles and almost open Liverpool up. So they'll have to get the pressure right. Just immediately looking at Liverpool in the absence of Darwin Núñez, we did wonder who might play through the middle. We thought Salah maybe might come through the middle instead of that right hand side, but Cody Gakpo is the man entrusted in that central role. You can understand that has the physical presence and the ability to drop and link play as well.
Well, it's on the Brighton left now. They're attacking, and it's with Mitoma to Lallana. The league winner, of course, with Liverpool. Out towards Gross, right corner of the area, delivers a cross that just dipped as Matip was already diving forward to head it away inside his penalty area. Downward header by Caicedo. Lallana keeps it alive for Brighton. Sharp little turn on the edge of the area, then he goes down, and our referee, who is Darren England, gives a direct free kick for Brighton. Not too far away from the right corner of the area, but a dangerous position, Danny.
Yeah, it was just a little bit too overzealous from Robertson. It was just that kind of left arm on the right shoulder of Lallana. He's always had good ability, good feet, Lallana, in tight areas. Ball came into him, a little Cruyff turn, and just moving across the 18-yard box there. Robertson tracking him, and it's just that kind of left arm that just leans into Lallana, and he goes down and draws the foul.
Derby County, who are unbeaten in 11, are trailing at Cheltenham. Cheltenham 1, Derby 0, Burton 0, Shrewsbury 1. 2 latest scores in League One. This is the Premier League. This is BBC Radio 5 Live. And attacking that away end at the ground here at the Amex, where the Liverpool fans are housed, it's a Brighton free kick. Gross with his right foot or the left foot of McAllister. 3 in the wall for Liverpool. It's Gross. Curls towards the far post. Fabinho it is. He's running in, facing his own goal, who has to head it behind for a corner kick.
And often in those situations, you see Liverpool holding a really high line, and if delivery's good, you can nick in on that far post. On that occasion, Fabinho doing his defensive duties, had to get there first. As you said, I think it was Dunk just in close attendance on that far post.
So it's a corner kick now for Brighton. Far side to left, playing from left to right as we look. This should be an in-swinger. In fact, it's actually played out towards McAllister, who fires it back in, repelled by a firm header away by Konate. Salah is in pursuit. Caicedo on the halfway line, back towards Sanchez. By the time he gets his feet in order, gets it out, plays it back out towards Caicedo, he'll roll the ball back towards the Spanish international. Plays it forward, McAllister to Dunk, had to quickly clear. Liverpool again pressing. Brighton, though, have beaten the press. Gross now lifts it high in the air. Downward header on that far side by Robertson, the Liverpool left back, of course. And then Colwill is there at the heart of the Brighton defence and not kept in play by Estepino. 5 minutes played, 0-0. Been looking forward to this game, though. I was at Anfield in October when they shared the 6 goals, 3 apiece. If it's as entertaining as that one, we're in for a treat, Danny.
Yeah, I don't see it being too different, I have to say, Deno. You look at Liverpool's form this season, particularly defensively as well. You know, very open, easy to play against, conceding goals. You look at Brighton's recent form, 4 wins from the last 6. Looks like Roberto De Zerbi's starting to get them going, but they've been shipping goals but also scoring them as well. So already has an open feel to it, this one.
The only thing different from today than back in October is there is no Leandro Trossard, and we might not yet probably see him again in a Brighton shirt, because with the fallout that he's had with Roberto De Zerbi, his agent has had his 2 penneth as well, and it just seems that a parting of the ways is inevitable with Brighton and their Belgian international. We welcome listeners to the BBC World Service, to the South Coast, to Brighton and Hove Albion, the Amex Stadium. Wherever you are, it's always a pleasure, I say it every week, to have your company. And it has been a miserable day, really filthy morning with the rain that was pouring down, but it's dried up now. We have got a bit of blue sky, dried up, but it's made the conditions, I would imagine, extremely slick for the players as Brighton are attacking. And it's with March on the right hand side, crosses into the area, a low ball, and Fabinho will clear the ball away. But it's been a good lively start here. How have they started at Molineux? Wolves, West Ham United, John Akers.
Yeah, same, lively. Wolves 0, West Ham 0. Both sides enjoying some attacks in the game so far. Moutinho's had a header wide for Wolves. Cunha making his full debut, looks lively, and Bowens just chest and shot and had a shot saved by Sarr. 0-0.
Luton are leading West Bromwich Albion by 1-0. Luton, who've won their last 3. Matoma is on the attack for Brighton, left corner of the area. And then the ball goes back out to Estepinian on that far side. Brighton being patient at the moment, just playing on the edge of the Liverpool penalty area. And Alexander-Arnold to Alisson, and all in green. He clears the ball away. I mentioned that goal at Luton. Nick Eshragani has details of it.
Yes, it was an absolute screamer. Carlton Morris from about 23 yards out, let fly with his left foot, hammered it home into the bottom corner. No chance for the keeper. It's Luton 1, West Brom 0.
Lively start here. John Akers says it's been lively at Molineux. What about Everton Southampton? Juliet Ferrington.
Good noise here. The banners are gone. The protests are over for now. It's Everton 0, Southampton 0. Southampton, though, have settled a little bit better, enjoying the early possession. Elanusi's had a shot charged down by Tarkowski. We had a stoppage, though, inside the first minute. Ben Godfrey went down. He clashed with Che Adams, but he was OK to continue 0-0.
Brighton have just come very, very close. It was March who's placed a left-footed effort right-hand side of the penalty area. It actually beat Alisson and Alexander-Arnold with a great clearance.
Yeah, brilliant piece of defending from Alexander-Arnold. He just reads the intention of March. He's just looking to bend the ball into the far corner. I think it is going in. Alisson's beaten, but outstanding defending from Alexander-Arnold. Just reading the intentions.
Goes behind for a corner kick. Brighton to take it. Far side the left, still 0-0. And it comes now. McAllister with a glancing header straight at Alisson. It remains goalless. We're going to go to Nottingham Forest, Leicester. Pat Murphy.
Chris, I'll settle for Ian. Leicester's Thomas, a terrific tackle on Johnson on the edge of the box. The ball's not running swiftly enough, rather slow after a lot of rain in these heavy conditions this last week. But it's good entertainment. Forest 0, Leicester 0.
Derby have equalised at Cheltenham, 4th in League One, looking to extend their unbeaten run, so they have levelled. It's Hibs 0, Dundee United 1. That's a latest score in the Scottish Premiership. And there has been a goal at Sheffield United in the Championship. Lee Blakeman.
Sheffield United 1, Stoke 0. Ball in from the left, and Iliman Ndiaye was there to drill it in, including the World Cup. His first goal in 12 games. Sheffield United 1, Stoke City 0.
Earlier today, Blackburn, who were third, they could have maybe closed the gap on Sheffield United, but they suffered a really heavy defeat in South Yorkshire as the ball is played in towards Gakpo, and then just leaning into him and just enough to put him off was Dunk. Good defending from Dunk there. Rotherham 4, Blackburn 0, a result in the Championship, and of course I'm sure you heard, Manchester United 2, Manchester City 1. So Manchester United 9 wins in a row. They moved within a point of Manchester City. Luton Town have got a second. They've won their last 3. They're now looking to try and make it 4 on the spin. West Brom have been going well. Brighton now are attacking. It's Lallana, edge of the area. He's got support with Ferguson. Played behind him. Ferguson turns, looks towards Matoma, and running back into his penalty area is Alexander-Arnold again. Not for the first time. Right place, right time.
I've got to say, Brighton in possession have started the game ever so well. The passing's slick. Liverpool are looking to get that press on, but they just can't get there. Symptomatic of what we've seen from them for most of the season, and 2 passes and then they're in on the back line there, Brighton, and Lallana just looking to square ball across the 18-yard box for simple tapping. Alexander-Arnold managing to get back, getting a foot in.
Brighton are coming forward. Casino, out it goes to March, unmarked, enters the penalty area, tries another left-footed effort placed, it's blocked. Fabinho gets the ball away, but Brighton are playing with a real intensity in these opening 10 minutes. Salford leads Sutton by a goal to 0 in League 2, and at McDermott Park in the Scottish Premiership, St Johnstone 0, Livingston 1. Let's get news of that second Luton goal. Back to Nikesh.
Yeah, free kick from the right-hand side, floated in by James Bree into the 6-yard area. Elijah Adebayo, tallest man on the pitch, unmarked, couldn't miss, didn't. It's Luton 2, West Brom 0.
We've got Brentford against Bournemouth after Sports Report for another commentary here on BBC Radio 5 Live. And tomorrow, 2 very interesting games. Chelsea Crystal Palace from 2. Newcastle Fulham, incidentally, is on Sports Extra. Tottenham against Arsenal at 4:30. You'll hear both of those as part of 5 Live's Premier League Sunday. Ominous clouds up above the Amex here. That patch of blue sky didn't last long, Danny.
Certainly didn't. At least it's not raining, and we're okay at the moment, but really bright start to the game from Brighton though. Just really interesting watching them in possession of the ball, the bravery that they show, and they'll give the ball into players who have markers on them, and they just trust in each other to retain possession, always looking to get the ball into Caicedo, and they build the attacks from there. And Liverpool really struggling to get a foothold in the game out of possession. They're all over the place with their press in that midfield.
Here is Robertson on this near side, cleared by Gross. Lallana just got a clip on the back of the heel by Matip. The referee's actually played the advantage. Ball is swept forward by Estupiñán to Matoma. Left corner of the area coming inside. Matoma looking for a shooting opportunity. Finds March out towards Gross. Tries to stab it goalwards. And before Ferguson could get there, Konate able to clear the ball away. Kept in play on this near side by Robertson. But Brighton at the minute they seem to be much the sharper of the 2 sides.
Yeah, they look sharper, they look quicker, throwing bodies forward, controlling possession. Jurgen Klopp doesn't look too happy with his team. He's demanding a little bit more here from the touchline, particularly kind of in that midfield area where they're getting played through and they're onto that Liverpool backline. Brighton.
Derby County have really turned it around. Paul Warne's side now leading at Cheltenham by 2-1 in League 1. Estupiñán charges forward from his left back roll, lays it out towards Matoma, who glides past 2 red shirts, and then he's bundled over by Alexander-Arnold, and referee Darren England gives a free kick left of the penalty area towards the byline for Brighton. 0-0, but Brighton really are coming on quite strong in these opening 13 minutes.
Yeah, brilliant play, direct play from Matoma, who I've been really impressed with in recent games. Burst past Salah initially, and he's on to Alexander-Arnold, and he just struggles with the pace of Matoma. He gets the other side, and that left arm comes out, and he just drags him down. Definitely a foul.
So Brighton have a free kick. That's the voice of the former Welsh international Danny Gabidon, who's with us here at the Amex this afternoon. Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Liverpool 0. Waiting to take the free kick in front of that away support. March and Gross stand over it. It's going to be the in-swinger. It was low, and it was just turned behind by the outstretched left leg of Robertson behind for a corner kick to Brighton. Really have made an encouraging start in these almost opening quarter of an hour here on the south coast under the leaden skies. Still goalless, however. Corner kick then for Brighton, far side. Liverpool have everybody back. In it comes now, headed away by Matip in front of his own goalkeeper Alisson, taken on the chest by Salah, up towards Oxlade-Chamberlain, uses his strength, tries to release Salah. It was a good interception from Gross. Let's get an update from Nottingham Forest Leicester. Pat Murphy.
0-0, but Leicester should be ahead. Albrighton laid on a plate for Barnes. Typical Albrighton, 35 yards out, super cross. Barnes eluded his marker, 10 yards out, right foot slices wide. Should have scored. It's Forest 0, Leicester 0.
Into the Championship we go to Watford and Vicarage Road. Aaron Paul.
Watford 0, Blackpool 0. Fast start here for the hosts, and William Troost-Ekong has hit the crossbar from a corner from the far side. The rebound dropped to Ismail Assar. His shot smashed off the woodwork and away. Blackpool survived 0-0.
Casido goes down, but in fact the decision goes against him. Just a word on Watford as well. Hard to believe this week Graham Taylor passed away. 6 years since he passed away. What a wonderful man, a gentleman who we had the pleasure and privilege to work with. And it's Graham Taylor Day at Vicarage Road today for 4th place Watford against Blackpool. So we had memories of Jimmy Armfield at Bloomfield Road last week during our FA Cup coverage, and certainly Graham Taylor very much in our thoughts today. Watford against Blackpool. Aaron Paul will keep us up to date. Quarter of an hour played. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live. Preston North End 0, Norwich City 1. David Wagner's first league game in charge, and they're ahead at Deepdale. And Sheffield Wednesday in League One, who were second, 13 unbeaten. Knocked out Newcastle United in the FA Cup last weekend there, leading at Adams Park. Wickham 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1. No goals, Everton Southampton. Forest Leicester, as we've just heard, or at Molineux between Wolves and West Ham United. And it's goalless here at the Amex. But certainly Liverpool at the minute still not anywhere into any sort of a rhythm or stride.
No, don't look at it at all, and that's credit to Brighton. They have been on the front foot, really confident in possession. As soon as they lose the ball, they're quick to react, get the ball back. Just need to get through this period, really. Liverpool unscathed, try and build into the game. Yeah,
for all the pressure and the dominance that Brighton have had, that just one opportunity really that Alexander-Arnold with the goal-bound clearance from Solly March's effort. Bolton lead Portsmouth by a 1-0. Livingston have increased their lead in Perth. St Johnstone 0, Livingston 2 in the Scottish Premiership. What about the league leaders of the Championship? Will Perry's watching them at Turf Moor.
Burnley 0, Coventry 0. Allen scraped the side netting for the visitors. Chiefs denied a penalty as well for Coventry. Burnley looking to open up a 17-point gap between them and 3rd place. Burnley 0, Coventry 0.
Well, referee Darren England here has just shown a yellow card to Lewis Dunk. First foul in the game, and Dunk has been booked.
Yeah, I don't think he can have any complaints though there, no, to be honest with you. Gakpo dropping deep onto the halfway line, ball played into his feet, and it's a lovely turn to spin away from Dunk, and he's looking to get Liverpool on the counter-attack. Pulls him down, he can have no complaints really with a yellow.
Ball was looking towards Gakpo, and the interception from Caicedo. We've got a little bit of rain in the air, the sun is shining, and now a rainbow appears away towards our right-hand side, just arcing its way above the Amex as another yellow is shown here from the referee Darren England, and this time it was to Joel Matip for a foul on Matoma.
And he can have no complaints either. Matoma looking to get in behind. Matip just steps across him, he knocks it past him, steps across him, that left arm comes out, knocks him over. The referee's got that spot on as well.
We'll dip into League Two in a moment, but as light rain is now falling here at the Amex. Norwich have got a second goal at Deepdale in the Championship, I can tell you. Preston 0, Norwich 2. Brighton though have this free kick midway through the Liverpool half. Left hand side, touch towards Marsh, goes inside now to Caicedo, lifts it for Estupiñán, unmarked, volleys the cross from the left hand side, cleared up in the air by Oxlade-Chamberlain. Liverpool really do have their backs to the wall at the moment, and this is McAllister who lets one fly right-footed. That was blocked, cannons away off the Liverpool defence. Gross now stands over the cross, it should be caught by Alisson, and he does exactly that. What about the League Two leaders? Leighton Orient, Flo Pollock.
Goalless still, but Barrow have had a goal disallowed. It was a corner. Billy Waters bundled it home, but the flag was up. Goal disallowed, so it's still Orient 0, Barrow 0.
And I can tell you that Sunderland, who are at home to Swansea City, are down to 10 men. Sunderland 0, Swansea City 0. Luke O'Nien has been sent off in the Championship, and Bristol City are leading Birmingham City by a 1-0. So we're up to date with the goals as they go in here. Let's get an update from Molineux. Wolves, West Ham, John Akers.
20 minutes gone, 0-0 here. Wolves have had a half-decent chance. Nunez, a right-foot curler from 18 yards, saved by Fabianski, and up the other end, Antonio's a handful. Wolves 0, West Ham 0.
Just whilst we were away before, the ball was played forward to Gakpo, and they're just looking, I don't think Sanchez had handled the ball outside the area. His momentum as he was sliding forward on his knees almost took him out of the box, but I think he released it just in time, Danny.
Yeah, just about got away with that one, Sanchez. As you said, the momentum almost took him outside of the box, and then he had to kind of let Holt go of the ball. Just looking at Alisson there just before that, he's the one that started off the initial Liverpool counter-attack with a quick throw. And just as he was throwing it, he just got bundled into, I think it was Levi Colwill. And then he actually goes down a couple of seconds after that, had a little bit of treatment, but seems to be back up on his feet and okay.
20 minutes played, still Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Liverpool 0. 5 Live Sport and the World Service. Don't forget as well, you can always listen through the BBC Sounds app. No other goals to tell you about at the moment, as Sanchez, all in his black goalkeeping outfit. Back it goes to the Brighton keeper. Liverpool are ready to pounce. They're going to try and beat the press. To Dunk, it goes to the right side of the box, and then Sanchez clips it across to Gross, playing at right back here today. Back it goes to Dunk again. You've got Oxlade-Chamberlain on the left, Gakpo through the middle, Thiago also in close attendance, and Salah on that far side, the right. But Brighton do beat it. They go long, and now up towards Marsh. Solly March on the outside of Konate, who slides into the challenge against the Brighton midfielder, and Brighton win yet another corner kick.
Yeah, lovely hold-up play from the youngster, Evan Ferguson. Hasn't had too many touches in the game of yet, but really excited to see his performance this afternoon. 18 years of age. Konate up against him there, long ball played forward, really nice touch to bringing the ball down and set up that Brighton counter-attack.
There's going to be a Brighton corner on this near side, the right. March is going to take it. Crowded penalty area, fires it in, left-footed, header out by Matip, drops to the edge of the area. Oxlade-Chamberlain will get there first. Referee has played the advantage. Certainly Jurgen Klopp was looking for something, and in fact the referee is now given a free kick to Liverpool. Bristol City have increased their lead. Only 1 win in 10 in the Championship, but they're now leading Birmingham, who've lost their last 3 by 2-0 at Ashton Gate. And it's Charlton 1, Barnsley 0. Charlton, who put up such a spirited showing at Old Trafford in the League Cup quarter-final in midweek, under Dean Holden, a United diehard. I think he enjoyed his return to Old Trafford for the first time in a professional capacity. He's looking to try and make it 3 wins out of 3 in League One for Charlton Athletic. Still yet to see anything from Liverpool midway through the first half as an attacking force here, Danny.
No, slow to get going. That is credit to Brighton. They've shown more energy, more intensity. 1 or 2 moments for Liverpool on the counter-attack, but it's just kind of been that final pass that has let them down. They'll just be happy to kind of get through the first 15 minutes, so I think Jurgen Klopp, because it's been a really bright start from Brighton. Here's Liverpool.
Oxlade-Chamberlain enters the penalty area, left corner to Salah, inside the D. Finds Gakpo, puts it out of his feet quite quickly. Right-footed shot was blocked, and it will go out for a Liverpool throw. It is a late flag. So there's an offside decision, and it'll be a free kick to Brighton, as Liverpool, all in red, play from right to left.
Firstly, you'll look for Liverpool on Brighton's goal. They win the ball back quickly, they counter-attacking. Oxlade-Chamberlain on the left-hand side, and he just plays a ball into Salah, into that central area, edge of the 18-yard box. He helps it on to Gakpo, and he's looking to get a strike away, which cannons off Lewis Dunk into the path of Alexander-Arnold, who's got himself forward, but he just strays offside.
Ball goes back to Sanchez. He plays it forward to the edge of his area, finds Casido, doesn't panic at all despite being surrounded by 3 red shirts, and Brighton are able to quickly go from defence to attack, and it's Ferguson marauding away on that left-hand side. Konate dispossesses him. Estupiñán goes into the challenge. Konate wins that one too. Out of play it goes for a throw. Estupiñán, who played against Liverpool in the Champions League semi-final for Villarreal last season, so he'll know all about Liverpool and the threats. Although, as you were saying with Mark Chapman earlier, obviously Mane has since left the club and struggling for goals, particularly away from home. They've only scored 11 goals in their 8 away matches on their travels, 15 fewer at the same stage last season.
Yeah, I think they've only won 2 away games this season, Liverpool as well. It really has been a bit of a struggle for them.
Well, Brighton, meanwhile, they've scored 9 goals in their last 2, 5 at the Riverside against Middlesbrough in the FA Cup, and then more recently in the Premier League, 4 at Everton. That's where we're going to go now. Everton, Southampton, Juliet Farrington.
Everton 0, Southampton 0, but Everton getting into this one. They're getting into good possessions. The best chance falling to Damari Gray came from Mikalenko. Gray went for goal. His shot, though, was really heavy and it hit high and wide over the crossbar. But the fans like this one. Pickford yet to be tested at the other end, 0-0.
Solly Marsh has been penalised for a high boot. He might have just grazed Andy Robertson's forehead. Darren England gives a free kick to the away side.
I think he's clever there, Andy Robertson. I'm not sure how much contact there was from Solly Marsh. Yes, the foot is high. Immediately Robertson goes down holding his head. Don't think there was a lot of contact there, Deno, to be honest. Milk the foul.
Hull City 0, Huddersfield 1. Hull without a win in 6 home games in the Championship, trailing again. Salah enters the penalty area, inside right channel. Took it early, right-footed. Couldn't keep it down, lifted it high over the top. Goal kick was still goalless.
A fantastic ball from Fabinho over the top of Colwell. Salah's on the run. He just hits it a little bit early. He's a little bit panicky with a finish. So many times there you'll see Salah looking to work the ball back onto his left foot and trying to bend the shot into the far corner. He elects to go on his weaker right foot. Shot from a tight angle, gets it all wrong.
Certainly Jurgen Klopp was extremely animated in the technical area. Liverpool just starting to see a little bit more of the ball. Swindon, who lost their manager in midweek. Scott Lindsay leaving to take charge of Crawley, but at the county ground in League 2 it's Swindon 1, Grimsby Town 0. Brighton with Lallana, releases Matoma. But Konate comes across and with a back pass to Alisson, and he clears first time. Back to the City ground, Pat Murphy.
Still 0-0 here, but Leicester getting back into it now. Tielemans had a shot deflected for a corner. I suspect the keeper Henderson was wrong-footed, and then Barnes on target, short corner, his shot blocked. Forest 0, Leicester 0.
Early ball forward by Henderson. Salah is away, enters the penalty area. Salah, the angle is tight, tries to cut it back. It might come back towards Salah, goes down into the challenge from Sanchez. The referee has a look at it and says no penalty. And it goes behind for a goal kick.
Really good play from Liverpool. The build-up play, the passing slick. They cut through Brighton again. It's Colwell up against Salah in that kind of left-hand channel of the 18-yard box. He does well not to allow him back inside on his left foot. In the end, he stabs across towards that near post. It bounces off Sanchez, comes back to Salah. And I think Sanchez just gets there first, gets enough on the ball. Still an opportunity after, but difficult for Oxlade-Chamberlain because he's under pressure from Lewis Dunk. He's not able to stab that cross towards goal, but much better from Liverpool there in the build-up.
It would have been the swiftest of VAR checks because play was quickly back underway. Hibs have equalised at Easter Road. Hibs 1, Dundee United 1. You're up to date with the goals as they go in. We're yet to have a goal though in the top flight. Some vital games down at the bottom of the table as well. We've just heard from Jules. Everton 0, Southampton 0, Nottingham Forest 0, Leicester City 0, and at Molineux it remains Wolves 0, West Ham United 0. As Brighton coming forward out of defence. Levi Colwell and now Matoma quickly into the penalty area. And he scuffed it a little bit. Right-footed inside left channel of the area, and it runs away from goal out for a goal kick.
I tell you what, the pass and the run, the pass from Colwell in behind Trent Alexander-Arnold is fantastic. The run from Matoma, he's in, and he just goes with the outside of the foot with a finish for some reason. You know, coming in off that left-hand side, got to be looking to use the inside of the foot and try and bend it into the far corner. Gets the finish all wrong, but fantastic play from Brighton again.
Reading, who've won their last two in the Championship, have taken the lead at home to Queen's Park Rangers by 1-0. Nice little interchange. Lallana to Caicedo, looks for some support. In fact, he actually tries to turn the other way towards the left. Ferguson's done well. Excellent footwork there by Ferguson. Has some support now from Gross. Gross will swing over a cross. Alexander-Arnold heads it away. Brighton is still looking to put Liverpool under pressure. Oxlade-Chamberlain now to Gakpo. Salah's going to go through the middle. That would have been a tight offside call if Salah had not been prevented from going forward by McAllister. You say you're impressed with Brighton's work in possession, but also at times out of possession.
Yeah, they're very good both sides of the game, Brighton. They do throw bodies forward, they do look to win the ball back quickly, but if you can break through the press, you can get onto that kind of back line as well and cause issues. And we've just seen in the last few minutes Liverpool starting to do that. It's just been that final shot for Liverpool. Both teams looking threatening now.
Now Caicedo is down at the moment, and it looks like it might be a shoulder injury. Jordan Henderson is being called towards him by referee Darren England, and it's a yellow card that has been shown to the England international. Certainly the reaction of no, that was never a red, surely. That's what some of the supporters were calling for. He was late.
It's a foul. You know, you could argue if it's a yellow card or not. He does catch him. Caicedo, ball into him. He lays it off. Henderson comes steaming in, clatters into him. It is a foul. Caicedo is down. Nothing more than that, though, Deno.
Where should we go next then on 5 Live while this injury happens? Caicedo is still down, and it's Wolves, West Ham, John Akers.
Come to me. Wolves 0, West Ham 0. 14 minutes to half-time. Neves has had a couple of efforts for Wolves, one saved, one over the crossbar, and then the best chance of the game's just falling to Sofal. Right foot, angle, shot blocked with the keeper beaten near the line. It's Wolves 0, West Ham 0.
I'm always in a safe pair of hands every Saturday afternoon with producer Claire in the chair. Rochdale 0, Colchester 1. That's the latest score in League 2. Brighton this time last week were scoring goals for fun at the Riverside. Middlesbrough today are at home to Millwall. Chris Coles.
We haven't had any here, Ian. Middlesbrough 0, Millwall 0. Very little in it. Middlesbrough dominating possession, but Millwall threatening on the break. One good chance apiece. Matt Crook shooting straight at the keeper from an angle for Middlesbrough. Millwall's Zion Fleming didn't get the cleanest of contacts on his edge of the area effort, easily saved. Middlesbrough 0, Millwall 0.
We've heard from our featured game in League 2. What about our featured game in League 1? It's a top-of-the-table clash at Portman Road. Ellen Ellard.
30 minutes played, still Ipswich 0, Plymouth Argyle 0, but a string of good chances for the host. Freddie Ladapo up against his former club, fired a volleyed shot from about 25 yards out towards Cooper in the Argyle goal, but in the end it was a regulation save for the keeper. Ipswich 0, Plymouth Argyle 0.
I'll be honest with you, I can't remember if I've actually told you that it's Preston 0, Norwich 3. If I have, then forgive me, but Norwich are obviously having a good afternoon, and if I haven't, we're up to date. Danny.
Better late than never, mate.
It is, yeah. 13 minutes to go to half-time. Caicedo looks like he's going to be able to continue. Matoma's charging forward. Matip slides across, gets the ball. They're looking for a penalty. The referee says it's a goal kick instead. Darren England and Caicedo just nursing that bruise to the shoulder is back on the pitch, and they're back up to their full complement. And Dundee United, through the son of John Harkes, Ian Harkes. Dundee United are back in front at Easter Road. Hibs 1, Dundee United 2. 12 minutes to go to the break. Looked a well-timed challenge actually from Matip.
Just about. Had to get it right, Joel Matip. Matoma, who's been lively, sucks Trent Alexander-Arnold in on the touchline, skips around him, then he's 1v1 with Matip in the 18-yard box and just about does enough there. Had to get the challenge right.
Back with Sanchez it is. Sanchez just touches the ball to Levi Colwill, who's started now the last 8 games since his arrival from Chelsea. Push there from Thiago on McAllister inside the D, and that's a foul. Free kick to Brighton on the edge of their penalty box. Back to Bramall Lane, Sheffield United, Stoke City, Lee Blakeman.
Sheffield United 2, Stoke 0. Stoke caught, playing out from the back. Bogle pounced, put in a shot, took a deflection and sent goalkeeper Bonham the wrong way. 33 gone, Sheffield United 2, Stoke City 0.
Ball was just hit long by Brighton. It was headed away by Allison on the edge of his area and then hoofed further downfield by Henderson. It's rolled out now, underarm by Sanchez. and dunk to the right back Gross, who's short of the halfway line. Got to say, it's a great position here at the Amex. Not so much when it rains, because you can get a little bit wet, but it does give you a real insight as to what the managers are feeling, and we're going through a lot in terms of the emotions of Jurgen Klopp, as Brighton are attacking on that left-hand side with Matoma once again. The support from Estupiñán, tries to roll it in, it's blocked, goes out towards Salah, but he cuts a very frustrated figure at the moment, Danny.
Yeah, not a happy man, and you can understand why. Difficult season for Liverpool in general. Brighton on the press here again, win the ball back.
Caicedo to McAllister. Estupiñán forward, out towards Matoma, always a threat on that left-hand side, left corner of the area, waits. He's actually not really moving at the minute, the ball's just staying still as he threatens to go one way and then the next. And now with McAllister once more, forward, just in from the touchline. You might just have actually heard Jurgen Klopp bellow then. He bent his legs, arched his back, now he's put his hands on his head. That was a good old shout, wasn't it?
He is not a happy man. We're just on the halfway line here. We're almost at manager level. It kind of feels that way where we're positioned, and he has been not a happy man, Jurgen Klopp, in his first half, remonstrating with a lot of his players in terms of not pressing quickly enough. Mohamed Salah's got it a couple of times where he's got into good positions. You normally see him cutting back inside and trying to get those shots away on his left foot, and he's elected not to, and his manager's not been happy.
Brighton passing the ball around, zipping it across nicely on this greasy surface. Estupiñán forward to Matoma, the threat's coming down that left-hand side. Matoma looks up, enters the penalty area, goes on the outside. Alexander-Arnold can't stop the cross, and then the touch from Ferguson just wasn't enough, and it's caught at his near post by Alisson. Stockport lead Northampton by a goal to 0 at Edgeley Park. McAllister wins it back for Brighton, finds Lallana, able to turn, edge of the area, enters the box, taken away off his toes by Thiago. Grimsby are down to 10 men as they're trailing at Swindon by a goal to 0, and Birmingham have got a goal back. Bristol City 2, Birmingham 1 in the Championship. You're up to date with the goals as they go in. This is BBC Radio 5 Live, 9 minutes to go to half-time in a half that Brighton have dominated.
Well, they have. They should be winning. And I think Jurgen Klopp knows that himself. He can feel that a goal's coming. Brighton have been the better side for me, more intensity, more moments in and around Liverpool's 18-yard box. They've had to defend really well, in particular those two centre-backs, Joel Matip and Ibou Konate, kept Liverpool in this game.
Brighton have never actually beaten Liverpool at home in the top division. There've been 9 meetings, they've drawn 4, they've lost 5. In fact, for Liverpool, 10 league trips without defeat, as Matip just on the edge of the area since this day, actually in 1961. 14th of January, it was a 3-1 victory in the old second division. Billy Lane getting one over Bill Shankly. Still 0-0. Now it's De Zerbi's turn to hop away in frustration. 8 minutes to go to half-time as Salah brings the ball clear, but he loses out and Brighton quickly get the ball back.
You look at the reaction there, the Brighton players. Yes, they give the ball away. Yes, De Zerbi not happy, but Salah there, he's got nowhere to go. He's driving up the field. He's got 3 or 4 Brighton players all around him. Just runs into a cul-de-sac in the end, ends up turning the ball over. Fantastic work rate from Brighton to recover and win the ball back.
Manchester United 2, Manchester City 1 was the result in the derby. Rotherham beat Blackburn 4-0 in the Championship. There hasn't been a goal in the Premier League in the 3 o'clocks this afternoon. Rochdale, though, have equalised at Scotland. Rochdale 1, Colchester United 1 in League 2. As Sanchez plays the ball out to Colwell. Just actually puts his left foot on the ball, doesn't move. Under no pressure at all, Colwell.
They'll actually do that a lot, the 2 Brighton centre-backs, Colwell and Lewis Dunk. And we talk a lot about the importance of moving the ball quickly, but they'll actually do that and just invite the press almost.
Now it's with Caicedo. Diagonal ball pierces the Liverpool defence. Matoma fires it across from the left-hand side of the penalty area. Nobody could get there. It's kept alive by Solly March. March on this right-hand side. Brighton attacking from left to right. Blue and white striped shirts cross from Gross. And there is Henderson to clear inside his penalty area. And the ball will go out of play. Brighton have had so many moments, but Matoma, it just seems to be every time that constant threat. But I said just a moment ago, there has yet to be a goal in the 3 o'clocks in the Premier League. Change that. The first goal of the afternoon is at Goodison Park. Juliet Farrington.
We have left off at Goodison Park. Everton 1, Southampton 0. It was Damari Gray. He won the corner. He then took it into the box. Brilliant delivery. And there was Onana with a downward header to put it into the back of the net. Everton 1, Southampton 0.
8 without a win before today for Everton. Southampton obviously have done well in the cups, but 6 straight defeats in the Premier League for Nathan Jones's side. As there's been another goal at Luton. Nikesh Ragani.
Yeah, and it's gone to the visitors this time. It's Luton 2, West Brom 1. Daryl DK with the final touch on it. It was a long ball over the top. DK outran the Luton defence. Keeper came charging out. Couldn't quite stop the header from DK. Sort of ricocheted off the keeper's shoulder, trickled into the net. No less than West Brom deserved. Luton 2, West Brom 1.
The Australian Open tennis starts on Monday every morning from 7 o'clock on Sports Extra. Tennis breakfast will be available to you. We have got about 5 minutes to go to half time as the rain has returned here and those gloomy skies above the Amex, and certainly the supporters on that far side of where we're sitting, those in the first 2 or 3 rows, are now searching for their hoods as the ball is played forward to Solly March, who goes down. This is going to be a penalty. He was caught by Allison, an outstretched hand by Allison bringing down Solly March, and Brighton and Hove Albion have been awarded a penalty 5 minutes before the break.
Well, it's been coming, Dano. It really has. Brighton to win the ball back quickly. It's a pass into that kind of number 10 area. And then it's Solly March making the run in behind Kanate. Allison then feels the need to come out. And March just knows if he just gets a little nick, there's a possibility of getting touched. And is he looking for that a little bit? I'm not sure how much contact. Allison, he's looking to stretch and get the ball. It's almost like Solly March stands on Allison's hand there and then almost stumbles and goes over. This one will get looked at on VAR, obviously.
It will. Neil Swarbrick is in charge of VAR today at Stockley Park. If it is given, I would imagine it would be a yellow card that is shown to Allison, because it was a genuine attempt to play the ball, but Darren England is waiting. And in the pouring rain now at the Amex, I mean, to the naked eye, it looks a penalty.
Well, even Allison didn't really complain, did he, when it was given?
No penalty. They were also checking for an offside. So that was the reason why it's been ruled out. So
yeah, that explains it. Solly March just making that run in behind Kanate and not quite timing it. Maybe that's why Allison looked so cool. Knew the offside flag had gone up.
So in the pouring rain, sweeping across now from left to right, which is the way Brighton are playing, it remains 0-0. 3 minutes to go to half time. But Liverpool have, I mean, with the exception of one effort from Salah, just haven't really been at it.
Well, this has been Liverpool all season, struggling with the intensity of Brighton, the ease in which they're able to kind of play through them. We've seen so many teams do that to Liverpool this season. We've seen a frustrated Jurgen Klopp on the side. They just need to get through to half-time 0-0 and hope that the energy levels of Brighton drop and maybe spaces start to open up. But at the minute, they're just swarming all over Liverpool and they can't cope with it.
His press conference yesterday was very interesting. He was very, very honest, though, in what he did and in the way he spoke to the media. Just saying that they're suffering the effects of those 64 games that they played last season. It's having its impact. They're having a sticky moment. Transfer market not necessarily an option for them, and just hoping that they get some of that forward line where they've really been hit very, very hard back to try and bolster the rest of their campaign. Reading and a second goal for Jeff Hendrick are now leading Queen's Park Rangers 2-0 in the Championship. Gillingham are leading Hartlepool United 1-0 in League 2. So Gillingham bottom of the Football League at Priestfield are 1-0 up. They're only 5 points away from Hartlepool, who are third bottom. But here Jurgen Klopp just hasn't stopped barking out the orders, and we have 90 seconds remaining of normal time. But it's still Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Liverpool 0.
He's got to find a way, Jurgen Klopp. Yes, it was a long season last season, played in a lot of games, didn't really do enough to refresh the squad in the summer, but as a manager, tactically, if your team's struggling with the intensity, you're not able to press off the ball the way that you used to, maybe you have to do something different tactically. Maybe you have to sit a little bit deeper as a team, change the system, I don't know, to help the players out there to continue to try and press and do the same things that have given you success over the last 3 or 4 seasons. When your team is not quite able to do that, it's obviously not working. So I think he has to look at it a little bit as a manager and say, what can I do different? I know he did change the system a little bit earlier in the season for a few games to try and get results, but he's gone back to this kind of 4-3-3, and I think he'll be delighted to go in at half-time at 0-0 if it stays that way.
If it stays that way, while you were talking there, Danny, I thought there might have been an opening for Oxlade-Chamberlain, but it bounced away from him, and then Colwell clears it long towards Matoma, who just gave Matip a little nudge to get away from him, and Matoma now running forward, and he's making good ground on that left-hand side, but Matip recovers very, very well, and actually gets back goal side and blocks in the challenge, and then brings the ball out of defence, up towards Salah. Salah lays it off towards Henderson, and Henderson plays it out towards Alexander-Arnold over on that far side, the right. And we're about to find out how much added on time there will be here at the Amex, and there are going to be 2 additional minutes. Mansfield 1, Crewe 0 is the latest score in League 2. Burton 0, Shrewsbury 2, and Fleetwood are leading Oxford United by 1-0 in League 1. Mark Chapman will take you around the grounds at half-time. Of course, he'll be back with Sports Report at 5. We've got another commentary after Sports Report for Brentford against Bournemouth. But it's 0-0 here at the Amex at the moment. Colwell and Dunk exchange passes at the edge of their own penalty area. And eventually Oxlade-Chamberlain will run towards Dunk, helped out by McAllister. Caicedo looking to try and beat the press, but actually Liverpool blocked that through Robertson. Alexander-Arnold now looking to come forward, but Brighton win it back with Caicedo. And Caicedo towards Solly March. And March now, and the Liverpool back line looks very exposed here. And March enters the penalty area. March pulls the ball back. Ferguson with a shot straight at Alisson. Can't help but feel that Liverpool have got away with that one.
They certainly have. You're just looking at the end of that Brighton attack, which sums Liverpool up. They've got 4 players caught upfield and then 6 back trying to get back and prevent that goal, and they tried to press high from the goal kick. They don't do that very well. They get played through. Really lucky again there not to concede.
All Brighton and Hove Albion. Gross to March, coming in off that right touchline. It's another left-footed ball, and the clearance by Matip, and now with Thiago looking for Gakpo. It's going to be a late flag. So it remains 0-0. Goal at Bramall Lane, Lee Blakeman.
Sheffield United 2, Stoke 1, so Stoke back in it. Nick Powell in from the left, tried a cross and it went all the way through. Nobody got a touch, and Powell right on half-time has got Stoke back in it. Sheffield United 2, Stoke 1.
Wolves 0, West Ham 0 is a half-time score. It's also goalless at the City Ground between Forest and Leicester. We'll get news of that when we hand back to Mark Chapman, but it's also half-time here now, and it's Brighton Hove Albion 0, Liverpool 0, and here are the thoughts of Danny Gavidon.
Well, I think Liverpool will just be really pleased to get in at half-time and it still be 0-0, because Brighton, for me, have been by far the better team in that first half. They've controlled possession, they've done really well winning the ball back quickly and counter-attacking. The only thing missing really has kind of been that end product really. They've had so many good moments in and around Liverpool's 18-yard box and not really enough end product. That final pass, the final shot to kind of get that goal. Konate and Matip have been probably the 2 standout players for Liverpool in that first half. They really have kept Liverpool in the game, but just looking at Jurgen Klopp there, demonstrating the whole first half, he knows his team are not at it again, and he'll have some choice words again to have with his team at half-time, and he'll just be hoping that the intensity levels drop a bit in second half, because if they carry on playing with that intensity, there's only going to be one winner in this game, and that's Brighton for me.
Yeah, Brighton's only grumble is that they haven't got a goal for all of their efforts. Half-time at the Amex, Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Liverpool 0.
Earlier, Manchester United beat Manchester City by 2-1 in the derby. But match of the day, as this time, might be a tough watch this evening because there is just one goal in all the 3 o'clock Premier League games. And if it wasn't for Jordan Pickford, Juliet Farrington, there might have been a second on the stroke of half-time.
Well, it could have been as well, and we'll come on to that in a minute, because Everton lead by 1-0, deservedly so. They started really slowly. They grew into the first half. Damari Gray providing the moment with a corner on 38, and it was Onana with a downward header into the bottom corner. Then he almost made it 2-0, Onana, with 5 of normal time remaining. Again, he went for goal, this time from a free kick, but Bazuna managed to smother it. Then Iwobi fired one in from distance, and the Everton fans were absolutely loving that spell, apart from in added time when James Ward-Prowse had so much space. He hit the post, and as the ball bounced off, Pickford pulled off a superb save to force a corner, which came to absolutely nothing. So at half-time, without the Everton board of directors here, the seats are empty that they would normally be sitting in. Everton lead by 1-0.
A couple of late goals in League Two. Conor McElhenney has got his second of the afternoon for Salford. He's got 5 in 3 now, and they lead Sutton by 2-0. And Christian Dennis has just got his 15th of the season, and on the stroke of half-time, and in fact the half-time whistle has gone at Carlisle. They lead Newport by 1-0. Goalless at Molineux. John.
Wolves 0, West Ham 0, and Wolves have edged it. 67% possession. They've had 11 efforts at goal, but none of them have really troubled Lucas Fabianski. Probably Nunes' effort, right foot curler from the edge of the box, which he saved, was their closest effort on goal. West Ham probably had the best chance. Sofal, right foot, running into the area, got there first, but his shot was blocked by a defender. 26 goals between them in 38 games, and you can see why with the finishing. Wolves 0, West Ham 0.
What's the finishing been like at Forest? Pat Murphy.
Very little chance to tell, Mark, really, because it's been attritional. It's 0-0. It's unsatisfying because the pitch, which was 120 minutes played on Wednesday night, a lot of heavy rain, the ball's just not running properly. Players getting frustrated, having to dig it out and not being able to move swiftly enough. The best chance of the half went to Leicester's Barnes. Great ball from Brighton, 10 yards out, unmarked, sliced it clear. Should have scored. I fancy there'll be a few substitutes in this second half. I think there'll be a few tired bodies on this service. Forest 0, Leicester 0.
In the early game in the Championship, it finished Rotherham 4, Blackburn 0. Let's start our roundup of the 3 o'clock games with the leaders. Will Perry.
Burnley 0, Coventry 0. The visitors, the more dangerous. Allen scraped the side netting and flashed a header wide after a 30-yard run from Palmer. He was denied by a last-ditch Maatsen tackle, and Harmer tested Muric from distance, with the Burnley keeper having to punch clear. Burnley yet to get going. A shanked Rodriguez volley, the closest they've come. Burnley 0, Coventry 0.
Opportunity for Sheffield United to cut the gap. Lee Blakeman.
Yeah, they lead Stoke 2-1 and have been really comfortable for the most part of the first half. Ahead after just 9 minutes, Sheffield United, and Jai drilling in a low cross from Lowe, Max Lowe that is, who was cutting in from the left at the time. Bogle made it 2 after just over half an hour. Shot from inside the area which deflected in. Stoke back in it though through Nick Powell right on half time. Goal out of nowhere. Cross from the left, went all the way in, nobody got a touch. It came against the run of play, but it's made it really interesting, this one at the break. Sheffield United 2, Stoke 1.
Let's go back to the 0-0s. Aaron Paul.
And Watford 0, Blackpool 0. Little to bring you from here. It's not been the greatest of contests. William Troost-Ekong and Ismail Assaf both hit the crossbar for the home side, who have been sloppy in possession. Josh Bowler stung the palms of Daniel Bachmann early on with a 25-yard free kick, but so far, Mark, this has been a dull affair. Watford 0, Blackpool 0.
Here comes another one. Chris Coles.
But at least this one, Mark, sounds a little better than Aaron's. It is Middlesbrough 0, Millwall 0. Middlesbrough the better. They're seeing all of the ball, 70% possession, but it's all a bit clunky when they get close to goal. A bit stop-start, taking 2 touches when one will do, that sort of thing. Matt Crook shooting their best effort straight to the keeper early on. Millwall have defended resolutely, as they always do. They've offered a threat on the break, and like Middlesbrough, some better decisions might have yielded a goal, but we're still waiting for one. Middlesbrough 0, Millwall 0.
We have some at Luton. Nikesh.
Yeah, Luton 2, West Brom 1. Both these sides going for 4 wins in a row. So far the game living up to that hype. Luton getting off to an absolute flyer. 2 goals in the first 10 minutes. The first, a left-footed screamer from distance from top scorer Carlton Morris. The second, a header from Elijah Adebayo after a free kick from the right. West Brom, though, remained composed after that. They started to create chances of their own. Jed Wallace has come close twice. Daryl Dike hit the bar with a header in. It was Dike who got the well-deserved goal for the visitors after a long ball over the top. He was one-on-one with the keeper, who charged out. DK managing to just about squeeze the ball into the net. It's been a cracker so far. It's Luton 2, West Brom 1.
Two teams out of form meeting at Ashton Gate, and Bristol City lead at the break. Antoine Semenyo 7th of the season and Naki Wells 9th of the season put them 2-0 up. Bristol City. Troy Deeney pulled one back for Birmingham just before half-time. That's 6 for the season now for Deeney. Elsewhere, Cardiff 0, Wigan 0, Hull 0, Huddersfield 1. Preston 0, Norwich 3. David Wagner's first game in charge of Norwich, and what a first half they've had at Deepdale. Timu Pukki got the first 9 for the season for him. The other 2 have come from Kieran Dowell. Jeff Hendrick has got 2 this afternoon as well, and Reading lead QPR by 2-0. And at the Stadium of Light, Sunderland 0, Swansea 0. Sunderland down to 10 men in that game midway through the first half. Luke O'Nien getting a straight red. Let's go to the snooker. First semi-final done and dusted comprehensively. Jamie Broughton.
It certainly was a comprehensive win for Mark Williams, who's through to the Masters final, and he's just wrapped up a 6-0 victory over Jack Lazowski, who never settled in this match and will be very disappointed with his display. The two-time champion made breaks of 47, 52, 74 and 68. It's 20 years since Williams was last in the Masters final, and tomorrow he'll play the winner of tonight's semi-final between Judd Trump and Stuart Bingham.
Into League One, third against first at Portman Road. Ipswich Plymouth, Ellen Ellard.
Half-time, Ipswich 0, Plymouth Argyle 0. No surprise, it's an even match between the hosts with the most goals in the league so far and Argyle, who have a great clean sheet record of late. The visitors with the more efforts on goal. Ryan Hardy came very close with a gorgeous curling ball from just inside the area on the left-hand side. Walton once again able to keep out his former club. Former Argyle man Freddie Ladapo and Wes Burns, they're the key men for the hosts. Ladapo's best chance, a shot on the volley, 25 yards out, but Michael Cooper able to get both hands on it. Cooper called into action once again on the cusp of half-time, quickly down to his right-hand side to deny Ipswich captain Sam Morsey the opener. So at half-time, Ipswich 0, Plymouth Argyle 0.
Elsewhere in League One, goalless between Accrington Stanley and Bristol Rovers. Dion Charles has got the only goal of the game at Bolton, 12 for the season for him, and they lead Portsmouth by 1-0. Burton 0, Shrewsbury 2. They're on a bad run of Shrewsbury. They've lost their last 3, but they're comfortable at Burton, who are 22nd in the league. Cambridge Morecambe was postponed because of the weather. Charlton lead Barnsley by 1-0. Derby were behind early on at Cheltenham, but they've turned it round. Cheltenham 1, Derby 2. They're unbeaten in 11 in the league, a Paul Warne side. Goalless between Exeter and bottom of the table, Forest Green Rovers. Fleetwood, who've won just 2 of 11 at home, lead at the break at the Highbury Stadium, 1-0 against Oxford. MK Dons 0, Lincoln 0, and it's Wickham 0. Second in the table, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Will Volks with the goal for Darren Moore's side. To the League 2 leaders, Leyton Orient, they're at home to Barrow. Flo Pollock.
Half-time goalless in League 2 as well between Leyton Orient and Barrow. The first notable chance in the game was for Barrow. They had it in the back of the net, but it was ruled out for offside. Barrow have been compact in defence and direct in attack. As for League 2 leaders Orient, they stung the palms of Fareham in goal a couple of occasions, but didn't massively threaten. There was an unusual pitch unveiler just before half-time as well. I don't know if it was a dog or a fox. Ran on, made a brilliant run down the right flank. Nobody picked him out, though. At the break, it's Orient 0, Barrow 0.
Elsewhere in League 2, goals between AFC Wimbledon and Bradford. Christian Dennis's 15th of the season on the stroke of half-time has given Carlisle a 1-0 lead over Newport. At the bottom of the table, this is 24th against 23rd, and Gillingham lead Hartlepool by 1-0. Tom Nichols got that goal. They signed him from Crawley, part of the money that's come into the club as they try to get themselves out of trouble. Harrogate 0, Stevenage 0, Mansfield lead Crewe by 1-0. At Spotland this afternoon, Rochdale in 22nd against Colchester in 20th. The visitors took the lead, but Devante Rodney's 7th of the season has equalised for Jim Bentley's side, so it's 1-1 there. Salford lead Sutton by 2-0. Stockport 1, Northampton 0. The goings on at Swindon can best be summed up by a tweet I saw from Gavin Brown, who's a Swindon fan. 33 minutes gone. The referee's been knocked out. Charlie Austin scored, and there's been a Grimsby red card. More excitement than we had in the whole of November and December. They lead by a goal to nil, do Swindon, and it's goalless between Tranmere and Walsall. 2 games in the National League this afternoon. Bromley 2, Yeovil 0 and Scunthorpe 0, Woking 1. That's because there are FA Trophy fixtures this weekend. In the Women's Super League earlier finished Aston Villa 2, Tottenham 1. Into the Scottish Premiership, struggling Dundee United lead at the break at Easter Road. It's Hibs 1, Dundee United 2. Goalless between Motherwell and Ross County. It's been a great first half for Livingston at St Johnstone. They lead by 3 goals to nil. In the Northern Irish Premiership at half-time, Ballymena 0, Dungannon 0, Coleraine 3, Portadown 1, Crusaders 1, Newry City 0, Glenarvan 1, Linfield 1, Glentoran 0, Larne 0. In the Scottish Championship, half-times these: Ayr 1, Arbroath 0, Cove Rangers 1, Wraith 2, Hamilton 1, Morton 0. The leaders Queen's Park being held at Inverness. It's goalless there. In League 1, Alloa 2, FC Edinburgh 0. Dunfermline the leaders 2, bottom of the table Peterhead 0, Falkirk 1, Clyde 0, Kelty Hearts 0, Airdrieonians 1, and Montrose 0, Queen of the South 0. And in Scottish League 2, Bonnyrigg Rose against Stirling was postponed. East Fife 1, Stenhousemuir 0, Elgin 1, Annan 0. Forfar 0, Tenman Dumbarton 0, Stranraer 0, Albion Rovers 1. In the Champions Cup in Rugby Union earlier, Gloucester 14, Leinster 49, and Sale, who were down to 14 for a lot of that game, 5, Toulouse 27. Coming towards the end of the first half in the 2 other games, Munster lead Northampton 24-0, and it's Sharks 22, Bordeaux 0. You are up to date with all the sport. Exactly 4 o'clock. Here's Alison Hughes.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Ukraine's President Zelensky has welcomed a promise by the UK to supply his forces with tanks. It's believed around a dozen Challenger 2 tanks will be provided to help fight off Russia's invasion. Volodymyr Zelensky says it will send the right signal to other allies. The UK has sanctioned Iran's Prosecutor General over the execution in Tehran of a British-Iranian national, Ali Reza Akbari. He denied accusations by Iran that he'd spied for the UK. China has admitted there have been 60,000 COVID-related deaths there in just over a month. Officials had been reporting only a handful of deaths each day since the government lifted lockdown restrictions earlier last month. And Tesla has cut the price of some of its most popular cars by thousands of pounds to try to boost demand. The firm says it faced significant challenges last year, along with increased competition from other car makers.
7 years ago, I was filming at East London Mosque when the story broke that 3 schoolgirls from the area had gone missing. They were heading to Syria to join the Islamic State group.
Breaking news this morning, 3 British schoolgirls are reportedly missing.
Shamima Begum was the only one of the girls to emerge from the ashes of the so-called caliphate. I've retraced her steps from the UK through Turkey and into Syria to find people who knew her and to investigate the truth of her story.
What do you think people think of you?
As a danger, as a risk, as a potential risk.
The Shamima Begum story, Series 2 of I'm Not a Monster.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman.
Don't forget, in the Premier League earlier finished Manchester United 2, Manchester City 1. Jack Grealish had given Manchester City the lead. Bruno Fernandes with a controversial equaliser. A lot of people would say that Marcus Rashford was interfering with play despite and was in an offside position, but the goal stood. And then shortly afterwards, Rashford himself got the winner. You will be able to see it tonight, 10:30 on BBC One. Gary Lineker, Micah Richards and Ian Wright on that one. Our 5:30 this afternoon, Brentford against Bournemouth. Full commentary on that. But let's return to our 3 o'clock base. Both teams are back out. Goalless at the break between Brighton and Liverpool. Here are Danny Gabidon. And first of all, nice half-time snack, Ian Dennis.
I actually haven't moved, and Danny will vouch for me. He offered me, what was it, a little bit of chocolate cake, and I said no.
Yeah, well, you told me about this orange cake, Dano, that they supposedly do here.
Is it not there today?
No. Donuts it was, mate.
Donuts.
Don't pretend you didn't know there were donuts on offer down there.
I'll be honest with you, Andy Gillies, our producer, came back with a donut, and I refused that as well.
Oh, you are a changed man.
What's the matter with you?
I am a changed man. The fact that our engineers had about 3 is by the by. Anyway, we're back underway. Neither side has made a change. And these are the two teams. Sanchez is in goal for Brighton. Back 4 of Gross, Colwell, Dunk and Estupiñán, with Caicedo, McAllister, Lallana, March on the right, Matoma on the left, and the Irish teenager Evan Ferguson through the middle for Brighton and Hove Albion in their blue and white striped shirts and white shorts and white socks, and in the second half are playing from right to left against the Liverpool team all in red that line up like this. Alisson in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Matip and Robertson. Midfield 3 of Fabinho, Thiago and Henderson, with Oxlade-Chamberlain on the left, Salah on the right and Cody Gakpo making his Premier League debut after his £37 million move from PSV Eindhoven through the middle. So Liverpool with Matip to Henderson, given away, and then McAllister to Matoma, and Matoma gets the shot away, and it's touched in by Solly March. He has a glance over his shoulder, the flag stays down, and Brighton within 60 seconds of the restart have got the goal that they fully deserve. Brighton Hove Albion 1, Liverpool 0.
Well, it's an awful start to the second half for Liverpool. Normal service resumed, really. Liverpool have been so poor in possession of the football. Brighton have been excellent out of it, and they're really sharp, they're really intense. It starts with Ferguson closing Matip down. He plays a sloppy ball into midfield, and Brighton pounce. 3 or 4 players breaking forward. Matoma's the one who's looking to guide it into that far corner under pressure from Alexander-Arnold, and it almost ends up being a pass, maybe a little nick off Alexander-Arnold into the path of March, who's lurking on that far post, and he slots it past Alisson into the net. Brilliant start to the second half from Brighton, a goal that they've richly deserved.
Nobody can say they don't deserve that. That goal has been coming. And there's been another goal. It's also in the Premier League. It's at Molineux. John Akers.
And it's a massive goal for Wolves. They'll go out to the bottom 3 if it stays like this. Wolves 1, West Ham 0. On the breakaway, came from a West Ham corner, and it fell to the man who you want it to fall to. Pedence, right foot, penalty spot in the corner. 1-0 Wolves.
Wolves go out of the bottom 3, as John says. Bournemouth slip into the relegation zone as a result. A goal now at Goodison. What a start to the second half it's been. Juliet Farrington.
And what a start to the second half for Southampton. They're level at Goodison. Everton 1, Southampton 0. It was James Ward-Prowse given so much space. Fired in past Jordan Pickford. He went close at the end of the first half, but he didn't make any mistake this time. It's Everton 1, Southampton 1.
Thank you, Jules. That's why we try to provide you the best possible goal service on a Saturday afternoon, as we went from the Amex to Molineux to Goodison for those 3 early goals in the top flight here on 5 Live and the World Service. Brighton and Hove Albion 1, Liverpool 0. Matip's mistake punished. Referee to his credit as well, Darren England did play a good advantage, because I think as McAllister had won the ball, there was a challenge on him and the referee played the advantage.
Yeah, it was really good refereeing, but it's poor play from Joel Matip. Ball comes to him. He's under pressure from Ferguson, who's closing him down, and he plays a straight sloppy ball intended for Jordan Henderson, the wrong side of him, and then Brighton just pounce and they move the ball forward quickly and they get duly punished. Liverpool, it's poor play, really poor start to the second half.
Robertson to Oxlade-Chamberlain, goes behind him, the head bowed there from a rather resigned figure of Jurgen Klopp. Very animated in the first half. This time he just looks a little bit more bewildered as he stands in front of us here in the technical area. Brighton have only had 1 league win against Liverpool in 41 years. That was in February 21. Graham Potter was the manager. It was a win at Anfield. That's going all the way back to 1982, when an Andy Ritchie goal gave Mike Bailey's side also a slender win at Anfield back in the day. But here they are thriving and they're leading 1-0. So Everton 1, Southampton 1, Wolves 1, West Ham United 0, Brighton 1-0 up here. What about Forest Leicester? Pat Murphy.
It's still 0-0, but again Harvey Barnes has missed a great chance for Leicester. Set up by Tielemans, no one near him, went for the right foot, put it past Henderson's left post. That's twice Barnes should have scored. Forest 0, Leicester 0.
March slides into the challenge and with his persistent wins the corner off Konate. They've from the first whistle, Danny, they have just looked so much sharper and more alert to every situation.
Well, they've been exactly what this Liverpool team used to be, but they're not anymore. I think we've seen it on a number of occasions this season. Any team that has any type of energy, intensity about them, Liverpool have not been able to cope with it. It's been outstanding from Brighton, and as we say, all that's been missing is that goal, which they've got now.
Corner kick far side the right, playing from right to left, leading by a 1-0. The goal scorer marched to take it. It's an in-swinger, comes off the head of Thiago, loops over everybody, kept in play by Alexander-Arnold on this near side the right, hits it long towards Salah. Salah takes it away from Estepinian, and then Henderson tries to switch play with a curling ball that is intercepted and cleared away on the volley by Gross. Ball overhit by Robertson. He goes in search to try and win it back, but Brighton haven't been phased at all by Liverpool's pressing throughout. Just passing the ball, one touch, slick passing. Fabinho tries to get it back. Oxlade-Chamberlain too. Fabinho there, but there is Colwill, and Fabinho on the follow-through has caught Colwill there, and he's gone down. And the referee will give a free kick to Brighton and Hove Albion. They just look so confident and comfortable.
Yeah, totally disrespected Liverpool's press up until this point. Brighton so comfortable in possession. They'll know exactly what Liverpool will want to do, and they have confidence in their own ability to play around that press, and they've done it on numerous occasions. And then just the frustration coming through from Liverpool there. I don't think Fabinho actually meant that. He goes chasing after Cole, who clears the ball, and he almost just accidentally kind of stands on the top of his foot.
He's back on his feet is Levi Colwill, on loan from Chelsea. This 19-year-old defender had a loan spell at Huddersfield Town last season. Fabinho, as the ball is back on the halfway line, Matip clears, Henderson loses out in the air to McAllister, and now Ferguson, this teenage striker, with a delightful forward ball towards March, and March, what a fine goal that is! March at the double, left-footed, always going away from Alisson, diving away towards his left. There was nothing he could do about that, and Brighton and Hove Albion are now looking for their first ever win at home in the top flight against Liverpool. 2-0.
Brighton are in dreamland now, and that is outstanding from Solly March again. Liverpool just can't cope with the runs, the intensity, the ball movement, but he's still got a lot to do here, Solly March. The movement initially, just to run off the back of Robertson and Konate, is brilliant, but then he's on a bit of an acute angle, but he fires it back across Alisson into that far corner. It's that ball initially played into that number 10 position. McAllister helps it on. The run from March is brilliant. He keeps himself onside, and then he fires the ball back across Robertson and Alisson into that far corner. Alisson was a top-class goalkeeper, absolutely no chance.
He scored a belter against Southampton. There was a couple of touches, but he really had to dig that one out and angle it back across. It was such a fine finish from Solly March, and Brighton lead Liverpool by 2-0. Middlesbrough Millwall in the Championship, both sides in playoff contention. Goal at the Riverside, Chris Coles.
And it's come to Middlesbrough, thoroughly deserved, scored by Marcus Forss, cutting in from the right-hand side, arrowing his finish into the bottom left-hand corner, and Middlesbrough up to third in the Championship as it stands. They lead Millwall 1-0.
Before today, they'd won 6 out of 7 under Michael Carrick in the Championship. Liverpool really have been second best today. Alexander-Arnold with a cross into the area. Oxlade-Chamberlain with a weak header diving forward, saved by Sanchez.
That's a chance for Oxlade-Chamberlain. Saw him score a decent header in that defeat against Brentford. There's a ball flipped into the box from Alexander-Arnold. He does well initially, just hold off the Brighton player to create the space for the free header. He's no more than 4 or 5 yards out. He just doesn't get any power or direction on the header. Comfortable for Sanchez.
Liverpool, fewest amount of points under Jurgen Klopp at this stage of a season in 6 full seasons. They're going to be overtaken in the table by Brighton and Hove Albion. And just think as well, certain people question the appointment of Roberto De Zerbi. The board, though, this forward-thinking board here at the Amex, he failed to win any of his first 5 games. He's now looking to try and make it 5 wins out of 7. And carrying on the excellent work that had been laid down by Graham Potter and Brighton, who finished 9th last season, their highest ever top flight finish under Potter. And now the magic is coming from Roberto De Zerbi and this free scoring Brighton side, leading by 2-0 and fully deserved. McAllister playing it out now to Estepina, linking up with Matoma. They've been a real menace down this near side, the left throughout. Estepina back towards Matoma, and Canate comes across, and Canate concedes the throw. All Brighton.
How many times have you said that one, Deno? Canate comes across. Those 2 Liverpool centre-backs have been overworked, had to do a lot of defending, coming out into those wide areas because they're just getting opened up so easily.
Caicedo spreads it out towards March. He's on a hat-trick. Tried to lay it in towards Ferguson, blocked by Liverpool, comes back out towards March. Roberto De Zerbi just watching on, almost getting onto the pitch there, such as his enthusiasm to get across his orders. Solly March, though, has been caught there in possession, and Liverpool with Salah played out towards Oxlade-Chamberlain, but Dunk is there and it will go out of play and it will be a Liverpool throw. So the only goalless game before was at the City Ground. However, that's no longer the case. There's now been a goal. Pat Murphy.
Because Nottingham Forest lead 1-0 through Brennan Johnson. He outpaced the back 4, beat the keeper and slid it in from 10 yards. I thought, honestly, it was offside. There was a VAR regulation and we all thought, routine. But no, VAR supported Forest and Brennan Johnson, and they lead Leicester 1-0.
You look down at the bottom of the table, Danny, and Forest are actually one of the form teams now of those sides who are facing relegation. I know they were hammered last week at Blackpool in the FA Cup. Blackpool really were ruthless in front of goal, but as far as their league form goes, Nottingham Forest are really showing shoots of recovery.
Oh yeah, it's been a difficult kind of return to Premier League life for Nottingham Forest, but Steve Cooper, obviously the amount of players that came into the football club in the summer, was always going to be a difficult one for him, and you'd expect them to be active in this window as well for the second part of the season, but maybe it just looks like they're starting to kind of find their feet, picking up results, and I think it's going to be a difficult one to call come end of the season, who that bottom 3 is going to be. I think there's going to be maybe 5 or 6 teams that are going to be in the equation, but Forest giving themselves a fighting chance.
Former Cardiff, West Ham and Crystal Palace defender Danny Gabidon, who's with us here at the Amex for 5 Live Sport and also the World Service. Wolves 1, West Ham United 0. Nottingham Forest lead Leicester by 1-0. Everton 1, Southampton 1, and Brighton are leading Liverpool here by 2-0. At the top end of the table, Manchester United have moved within a point of Manchester City after their 2-1 success, coming from behind at Old Trafford. Tomorrow we'll have commentary of the North London derby. John Murray and Clinton Morrison from 4:30 after Alistair Bruce Ball and Pat Nevin have brought you Chelsea against Crystal Palace. 2 commentaries part of 5 Live's Premier League Sunday. Don't forget, if you're out and about, you can always listen to 5 Live through BBC Sounds. We are approaching the hour mark, and Brighton, no change in the pattern of play. Just the home side, completely dominating. Up towards Ferguson, lays it back to Lallana. And Lallana hit it first time left-footed, and he's dragged it well wide. Goal kick.
Yeah, really good hold-up play from Ferguson there on the edge of the 18-yard box. But again, just the ease in which Brighton are able to get the ball in those pockets of space. Lallana there, the set-off from Ferguson, and the shot from Lallana, edge of the 18-yard box, is so easy.
So Brighton going 7th in the Premier League. Liverpool will drop to 8th in this sticky spell that they're currently going through. The Brentford defeat actually ended a 4-match winning sequence in the Premier League, but they haven't been playing well for a while. No,
none of those wins were convincing, and this hasn't been convincing again. Again, there, ball given away by Joel Matip, an easy pass, and you can talk about kind of the lack of intensity, age in midfield, but this Liverpool team, to me, it looks like they've mentally kind of checked out as well. I'm not seeing that kind of focus, that hunger, that drive that we've associated with Liverpool over the last kind of 4 or 5 seasons. You're just seeing individual mistakes, players doing things I've never seen them do before, making poor decisions. Big issues here for Jurgen Klopp to sort out.
1993 was the last time that Liverpool lost 2 opening league games of a calendar year. They are looking to try and make changes. I've seen Tsimikas, I can see Keita, and I think it's Joe Gomez, the other player who looks like he's going to be coming on. Liverpool looking to try and get something into a game, but they've not threatened throughout all afternoon. Salah to Matip. The cries of the Liverpool travelling support. That's the end that Liverpool are attacking, all in red, playing from left to right. In fact, it might well be multiple changes here, because there's Harvey Elliott. I think that's young Ben Doak that's also going to be coming on as well for Liverpool. So ringing the changes, Jurgen Klopp just looking to try and spark something from his team here, trailing 2-0, and in every aspect they've been second best. Out towards Cody Gakpo, flips over the cross from the left hand side. Dunk clears it up in the air. It'll be caught by his goalkeeper Sanchez. Let's get an update from Burnley. Turf Moor, Will Perry.
Burnley 0, Coventry 0. Dreadful back pass from Bayer allowed Gyökeres through 1-on-1, rounded the keeper, but Brownhill was back to get the block in, and Benson shaved the crossbar from 12 yards out at the other end. Burnley 0, Coventry 0.
Thank you, Will. Sheffield United, who are behind them, leading at home to Stoke City. Going to be at least 4. So Gomez, Elliott, Doak and Naby Keita. Brighton meanwhile attack. Alisson's out of his area, flag goes up on that far side. In fact, there's going to be changes here for Brighton as well. So this is going to be a lengthy stoppage, one would imagine, with 4 Liverpool substitutions and 2 coming on for Brighton in the shape of Welbeck and Veltman, the Dutch international. Liverpool go long, headed away by Colwell, lifted back by Alexander-Arnold. Salah's battling for the ball, drops towards McAllister. Brighton bring it out. Then there was a late challenge, no foul. McAllister was dumped to the floor. Estepinian, back it goes then to Colwell, and now with Dunk on the edge of the area. But Brighton in a really comfortable position. Estepinian strokes it back towards Colwell, just in complete charge.
It's been brilliant to watch, I have to say. This Brighton team are an excellent side who are only going to get better. Probably, obviously, the issue that they have moving forward is keeping hold of their best players, but the way that they play, the philosophy is clear. And Liverpool, well, it reminds me of how Liverpool used to be, what Brighton are doing here. Liverpool are lucky it's only 2 for me.
Yeah.
Could be 3 or 4 or 5 easily.
Well, Brighton are looking for more goals now. March, who's got both of their efforts this afternoon on the attack on the right-hand side. Liverpool have every red shirt back behind the ball, and now it's with Dunk. They retreat towards the halfway line. We'll go around the grounds when this raft of substitutions take place here at the Amex. Estepinian inside, McAllister. Lovely little passing movement there between a quartet of Brighton players. They've been so confident and slick. They are oozing confidence here. With the ball now out towards Matoma, and the Japanese international is on the attack, up against Alexander-Arnold, comes on the inside, Matoma shoots, and Alisson makes the save. You're not alone, because Pat Nevin absolutely loves Matoma.
So do I. He is a fantastic player, but that there again just sums Liverpool up. How easy it is for Matoma to pick the ball up on the left side. He goes past Trent Alexander-Arnold. There's 2 Liverpool players inside of him, and he's still able to get the shot away. And that's what I'm talking about with this Liverpool team. It just looks like mentally they're not quite there either. It's so easy.
There's been a goal in our featured game at Portman Road. Ellen Ellard.
Ipswich 1, Plymouth Argyle 0. Wes Burns 15 yards out, a right-footed rocket that Michael Cooper could do absolutely nothing about. Third place Ipswich lead here at Portman Road.
Trent Alexander-Arnold has just been shown a yellow card. I think this might well be the moment where the changes are going to be happening. So Brighton are leading by 2-0. It was a late one on Ferguson, and while the changes happen, we'll go around the grounds. We'll start at Goodison. It's Everton against Southampton. Juliet Farrington.
Where it's Everton 1, Southampton 1. Southampton making a double substitution on the hour. Adam Armstrong, Nathan Jones has brought on, and also their new signing Alcaraz for his Southampton debut. It was a brilliant finish from James Ward-Prowse to level the scoreline here at Goodison Park. Driving run from the captain to finish past Pickford right at the start. It's Everton 1, Southampton 1.
Danny Welbeck has come on to replace Evan Ferguson. Adam Lallana is going to be the player who's going to be coming off against his former club to replace by Joel Veltman. Liverpool now are about to make 4 changes. We'll go to Molineux. John Akers.
24 minutes plus added time. Wolves 1, West Ham 0. West Ham have had loads of possession but just haven't troubled Sarr enough. Changes have been made. Ben Rama's on for Souček and Ait Nouri's on for Podence, the goal scorer for Wolves. Jimenez has also replaced Cunha. Wolves 1, West Ham 0.
Let's also bring you up to date. Cheltenham 1, Derby 3, Mansfield 1, Crewe 1. Carlisle 2, Newport 0. Stevenage lead Harrogate by a 0-0. Oxford have equalised at Fleetwood 1-1. Gillingham 2, Hartlepool 0. Burton 0, Shrewsbury 3. We know about Ipswich leading. Charlton have got a second at home to Barnsley 2-0. The 10 men of Sunderland have equalised at home to Swansea in the Championship. Sunderland 1, Swansea 1, and in the Scottish Premiership, St Johnstone 1, Livingston 3. Luton 2, West Bromwich Albion 2 is now a latest score at Kenilworth Road. We'll go to Pat Murphy, Nottingham Forest Leicester.
Forest still leading 1-0 due to that Brennan Johnson goal about 12 minutes or so ago. Leicester now 3 substitutions as I speak. The heavy conditions taking their toll. Forest 1, Leicester 0.
Liverpool are still to make their quadruple substitution here at the Amex. Not too sure what the hold-up was. The natural time after Brighton had made their 2 changes. But they're still waiting. Gomez, Doak, Keita and Elliott to come on. Liverpool, as we approach the midway point in the second half here at the Amex, are 2-0 down. Oxlade-Chamberlain rides the challenge and then passes the ball back to Konate in the centre circle. Matip passes the ball back out towards the Liverpool left for Robertson. Robertson forward. Oxlade-Chamberlain to Thiago. Thiago slowly coming inside off that left touch line, and then passes the ball to Henderson, and now with Alexander-Arnold. Alexander-Arnold on the right-hand side, sweeps over a cross. It's a high one. Oxlade-Chamberlain bundled over by Veltman, more in hope than anything else that they're looking for a penalty. But now the changes will happen. Danny Gabidon.
It was clumsy from Veltman, that deep delivery to the far post. Oxlade-Chamberlain just looking to kind of get his body in front of Veltman. Just hits Oxlade-Chamberlain's chest. There's a little bit of contact, but it is very theatrical, the fall. Just a little kind of note on Evan Ferguson as well. How many teams in the Premier League would have the confidence to start an 18-year-old up top? I don't think there's too many in this division that would do that. It was great to see this club, Brighton, young players getting given opportunities to perform, and that's why they will continue to attract players, because players know they can come here, develop, get game time. Levi Cole was another one, went on loan to Huddersfield last season. Chelsea willing to loan him to a Premier League team this season because they know they're going to look after him and he's going to develop as a player, getting game time. Fantastic to see.
There's been another goal at Kenilworth Road. Nikesh Ragani.
Yeah, and it's West Brom who now lead here by 3-2. A couple of goals in the last 2 minutes. Connor Townsend with that third one for West Brom. Cross came in from the right. He was 6 yards out. Couldn't miss with his left foot. West Brom have been much the better side since going 2-0 down. They deserve this. It's Luton 2, West Brom 3.
My school teachers would tell you that I would struggle to pay attention at times. So that quadruple substitution, hopefully I've got it right. Meanwhile, Brighton link up. Matoma, strong challenge coming in from Thiago. Behind it goes for a corner kick, but Gomez for Matip, Keita for Fabinho, Doak has come on for Oxlade-Chamberlain, and then the other change was Jordan Henderson making way for Harvey Elliott. Just over 20 minutes remain. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live on this Saturday afternoon. Sports Report on its way with Mark Chapman. The results and the reaction before our next commentary, which is Brentford against Bournemouth at 5:30. Then it'll be 6:06. But Brighton really have been full value for what is sure to be 3 points here this afternoon, leading by 2-0. Corner kick on this near side, the left. Liverpool have everybody back. Headed away at the near post by Robertson. Back it goes to March. Links up with Gross, looking to come on the inside. Here is Elliott, though, to win the ball back for Liverpool. Robertson in inside his penalty area. Risky back pass that Alisson had to sweep away, only as far as Estepinian. And there it is with Brighton. Just haven't been able to deal with Brighton's intensity, have they?
Every department Brighton have dominated. You have to give a lot of credit to them. You know, we know Liverpool are going for a difficult kind of period, but they still have quality players. You still have to do a lot of things right to beat them as a team, and Brighton have been absolutely outstanding every single department. The way they've dominated possession, the way they've recovered the ball back quickly, the way they've attacked, you know, the individual performances. Matoma.
Ball up towards Salah, loses out to Colwill on the edge of the area. Liverpool try and win it back, but Brighton just go through the gears, and Matoma, a rare mistake from him, he overruns it, out of play, it goes for a throw. Norwich have hit a 4th goal at Deepdale, so Preston 0, Norwich City 4. David Wagner's first league game in charge is going to be a very good one. Sunderland down to 10 men 1, Swansea City 2 as the latest score in the Championship. Talking of 4 goals, Bristol City only 1 win in 10 in the Championship before today, leading Birmingham City 4-1, a 4th straight defeat for Birmingham. They really are feeling the blues. St Johnstone 2, Livingston 3 is the latest score in the Championship, and I think that means we're up to date as the ball goes back to Sanchez. This is what I've liked about Brighton, is that they've now given the ball away as Liverpool, with the cross from Gakpo, patted down by Sanchez. But up until that moment, they've beaten the press 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, one of the few occasions that Brighton actually turned the ball over in a dangerous area, and a half chance comes off the back of it for Liverpool. Gakpo just skipping past Dunk on the byline and not able to pick a Liverpool player out. And that is the slight danger for Brighton at 2-0. With the quality that Liverpool have, they're still able to hurt you and get back into this game. So really important that Brighton kind of continue to do what they've been doing and don't make any individual kind of mistakes defensively to allow Liverpool back in this game.
Looking for a 4th win out of 5 in all competitions. Swindon Town 2, Grimsby Town 0 is a latest score. Brighton have been awarded a free kick with 18 minutes remaining. Imagine Liverpool will be flying back to the northwest after the game. Football is hammered for short flights these days, although in 1911 the first commercial cargo flight actually landed in Brighton, just travelled 5 miles from Shoreham. It was carrying light bulbs. Liverpool have not been switched on today, I think it's fair to say. 17 minutes remain. Here is Thiago. Ball then from Keita. Looking for the run of Robertson. Overruns it, and it goes out of play for a goal kick. Tranmere 0, Walsall 1. Sorry, Danny.
Yeah, brilliant work there, just off the ball. I think it was Solly March just tracked the run. I think it was Doku got the ball on the left hand side, and Robertson's making that inverted run inside the 18-yard box, and he probably gets onto the end of that pass, but March tracks the run all the way and just shepherds it out of play, and that's epitomised Brighton's performance. Yes, they've been excellent in possession, but they work ever so hard out of it as well. So important to get the balance right.
I know we haven't worked together a great deal. Just in case you thought I was morphing into Alan Partridge, that was part of a Beat the Commentator feature that we do on a Saturday morning with Patrick Keelty, to shoehorn a fact into the commentary. But Patrick doesn't like it when I mention that. Right, okay. So I've waited 2 minutes. Hopefully his producers are not listening and I get away with it. Just in case you're thinking, what is he doing? Liverpool try and win the ball on the edge of the area, but Brighton clear the ball away. Comes back towards Salah, goes to ground far too easily, and the referee Darren England has a good look at that and says no foul, and then the ball is cleared away. Exeter 1, Forest Green 1, Bolton 3, Portsmouth 0. 2 latest scores in League One. Brighton, who are leading by 2-0, are attacking again. Matoma on this left-hand side. Matoma goes for goal, strikes the back of Gomez, comes to Estepina on the left back inside the penalty area, pulls it back to the edge of the area. Gross was there, who's now playing in his more natural position, because since Veltman's come on, Veltman has gone into to right back for Brighton. But with just over a quarter of an hour remaining, Brighton have been superb from minute 1.
They have, and it's just about keeping that focus now. There's just been 2 or 3 occasions. Dunk on the ball, Cole on the ball on the edge of their 18-yard box, where they've been a little bit sloppy in possession, have just invited Liverpool on and sort of turned the ball over. What they don't want to do is to give any hope to this Liverpool team, so defensively have to stay really focused. If they do that, I feel they can go on and get a 30th.
Well, they're looking for a third now with Veltman's ball to Welbeck. Alisson quickly off his goal line, all in green, dives along the ground, smothers the ball, rolls it out quickly towards Thiago. There just appears to be a different pace that Liverpool are playing. When Brighton pick up the ball, there is a greater degree of urgency, whereas the ball is hit long towards Salah. Liverpool don't seem to be playing at the same pace.
No, they don't. The tempo's different, slower in possession, don't have as much counter-attacking threat as what we've been used to seeing from this Liverpool team.
Well, here is Elliott, tries to hook it into the path of Salah, cleared by the Brighton defence. Matoma to Estepinian. Swindon 3, Grimsby 0, Stockport 2, Northampton 0. 2 latest scores in League 2. Goal, just hold on. We're going into the Championship in a moment. Elliott, though, here for Liverpool, shoots, drags it wide, goal kick. Straight to Vicarage Road, Aaron Paul.
Relief around Vicarage Road. Watford 1, Blackpool 0. It's Toby Adeyemo on his home debut who's got the goal for the Hornets. Mateus Martins breaking down the right. His shot saved by the goalkeeper. And there was Adeyemo just to convert the rebound. Watford 1, Blackpool 0.
It would be 10 without a win in the Championship then for Michael Appleton's side. Let's get the team news from our next commentary. It's at 5:30. Brentford, Bournemouth. Alistair Bruce Ball.
And with scores as they stand, Bournemouth are going to start this game in the bottom 3. 7 defeats in their last 8 Premier League games. Ivan Toney back to lead the line for Brentford. Neto returns in goal for Bournemouth, the Brazilian, back after a long-term hamstring problem. And a change up front as well. Kiefer Moore starts. He's in for Dominic Solanke.
James Collins is alongside Ali. Commentary of that after Sports Report here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Liverpool are 2-0 down. Doak, former Celtic player, just over a year ago he made his debut against Dundee United. I was at Parkhead that particular afternoon as Liverpool seeing a lot of the ball, but by and large playing in front of Brighton, as Brighton have just dropped off a little bit. Gomez now to Alexander-Arnold, still plenty of vocal support. Cross comes in, Gakpo is there. Actually, it was a very good save by Sanchez. Close range save, because Gakpo did get enough on it and he had to keep it out as he dived away to his left.
Yeah, fantastic delivery from Alexander-Arnold from the right. Just building a bit of momentum here, Liverpool, and it's come off the back of Brian being a little bit sloppy in possession.
Here is Salah, threads it through, Gakpo. Right hand side, chips the ball into the penalty area, headed away by Veltman. The right back was tucked into cover. Estepina, now the left back for Brighton, holds it up, and now towards Matoma. There's been a third yellow card of the afternoon in League 2. Bradford are drawing 0-0 away at Wimbledon. They're down to 10 men. Grimsby losing 3-0 are down to 10 men as Matoma towards Welbeck. Back heels the ball towards McAllister. McAllister to Matoma. And that third yellow card is Walsall. It's at Prenton Park. So Tranmere 1, Walsall 1, but Walsall are down to 10 men. And in fact, Josh Hawkes, since that red card, has got that equalising goal for Tranmere. So we're up to date with 12 minutes remaining. I'll rattle through all the divisions with the latest scores very, very soon. March wrestles the ball back for Brighton. No foul. Looks to the assistant referee. Ball from Doak towards Keita. Keita, who's building up his fitness after a thigh injury. It's his 6th consecutive appearance off the bench. And Doak can't keep the ball in play. Let's get an update from Molineux. Wolves, West Ham, John Akers.
Wolves have hit the bar. Wolves 1, West Ham 0. We've got 12 minutes plus added time. Neves, edge of the box. A curler, underside of the bar, didn't cross the line. And Lemina's on in central midfield for his debut. West Ham don't look like scoring. Wolves 1, West Ham 0.
Can be no complaints today about the scoreline, Danny.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Brighton have been full value for the 2-0.
There's been a goal at Goodison Park, Juliet Farrington.
And Southampton lead at Goodison Park for the first time this afternoon. It's 2-1 Southampton. A second goal for James Ward-Prowse. It came from a free kick. It was left of centre. He struck it superbly. Pickford didn't even move. Everton 1, Southampton 2.
Well, that will end a run of 6 straight defeats in the Premier League for Southampton and Nathan Jones after those morale-boosting cup wins against Palace and Manchester City, albeit in different competitions. Turning it around there at Goodison Park. But with planned protests at Goodison, 9 without a win, the directors for their own safety have been told to stay away. You can only imagine it's a toxic atmosphere at Goodison. Nottingham Forest still lead Leicester City by 1-0. Wolves 1, West Ham United 0. Brighton are looking to make a change. Harrogate have equalised at home to Stevenage. Harrogate 1, Stevenage 1. Cheltenham have got a goal back. Cheltenham 2, Derby 3. Swansea now leads Sunderland, who are down to 10 men by 3-1 at the Stadium of Light. And in the Scottish Premiership, it's Motherwell 1, Ross County 1. Sarmiento is going to be coming on for Brighton. 10 minutes remaining. These are the latest scores in the Scottish Premiership. Hibs 1, Dundee United 2, Motherwell 1, Ross County 1, St Johnstone 2, Livingston 3. At 5:30 it's Celtic against Kilmarnock in the League Cup semi-final. We'll have regular updates into our commentary from Brentford. Birmingham have got a goal back in the Championship. Bristol City 4, Birmingham 2. Brighton meanwhile have got a throw over on that right hand side. They're going to hold on from making the substitution just at the moment, as he gets a little embraced as the Ecuadorian international from his manager Roberto De Zerbi, as Brighton continuing to do ever so well with a throw, flick on towards Welbeck. Oh, what a finish! What a finish from Welbeck! The little touch, he teed himself up and right-footed secures the 3 points. It's a great day for Brighton. But Liverpool's problems continue. Brighton Hove Albion 3, Liverpool 0.
Yeah, and just looking at the face of Jurgen Klopp, a wry smile actually. Maybe he's come to expect this season. Outstanding individual goal from Danny Welbeck, and that is the icing on the cake. But it actually comes from a Brighton throw-in. It's flicked on inside the 18-yard box into Welbeck. Whoops over the top of Joe Gomez with his first touch. And then bang on the volley, shows the composure to beat Alisson on his near post. It's so easily worked by Brighton. Poor from Liverpool. Let's take nothing away from the individual brilliance here of Danny Welbeck. Flicks it over the top of Gomez, lets the ball drop down, and connects on the volley past Alisson. 3-0, game over.
And their World Cup winner, who came out as a solitary figure to a standing ovation, Alexis McAllister, leaves the pitch to a standing ovation, because the Brighton players, as Sarmiento comes on, the Brighton fans were still on their feet after Danny Welbeck with that wonderful goal. Doesn't actually have a good record of scoring goals against Liverpool, only 1 goal in 19 before today. But the touch and the lift over Gomez and then the finish was a sheer delight.
Bergkamp springs to mind there, but you're looking at it from a Liverpool perspective there. Defensively, absolute shambles. It's a throw-in. That's when you get an opportunity to get your players back into position. It's a simple throw. Well, he's thrown it forward. Flick on unopposed. Welbeck making the run inside the 18-yard box. Gomez comes across, overcommits himself. Little flick over his head. And then it's a simple finish from Welbeck in the end. Sums up the two teams really. Brighton have been right at it all afternoon. By far the better side, Liverpool. Very much what we've seen this season. Nowhere near good enough.
No. Brighton fully deserved. 7 minutes remain. They lead by 3-0. Reading 2, Queen's Park Rangers 2. St Johnstone 2, Livingston 4. But the place is absolutely jumping here at the Amex. And the thing is, this Brighton side are hungry. They want more goals. Matoma, they've scored 9 in their last 2. So what's that? They now score 12 in 3. Another goal at Nottingham Forest, Pat Murphy.
Another goal for Forest, it's 2-0. Another one from Brennan Johnson, and for the second time beautifully set up by Morgan Gibbs-White. A classic counter-attacking goal. Forest 2, Leicester 0.
Sarmiento with a cross, takes a little deflection, loops up into the air, march over on that far side to Everton 1, Southampton 2, Nottingham Forest 2, Leicester 0, Wolves 1, West Ham United 0, 3-0 to Brighton and Hove Albion here at the Amex, and we're going to Cardiff now. Laura Kenyon.
Cardiff 1, Wigan 0 for all their possession. The home side finally have the breakthrough. Callum O'Dowda with a composed finish, driven low, bottom left. They lead 1-0.
Mansfield are down to 10 men. They're drawing still at home at Field Mill against Crewe. I'll give you the League Two latest scores in a moment. There's been a late goal at Turf Moor involving the leaders Burnley. Will Perry.
And it has gone to Vincent Kompany's side. It's Burnley 1, Coventry 0 from a corner from the right-hand side. Close range. Jordan Bayer with the header. The visitors down. It's Burnley 1, Coventry 0.
These are the latest scores then in League 2. Wimbledon 0, Bradford City 0, who are down to 10 men. Carlisle lead Newport 2-0. Crawley Doncaster Rovers was postponed. Gillingham 2, Hartlepool 0. Harrogate 1, Stevenage 1. Leyton Orient, the leaders, still being held at home 0-0 by Barrow. Mansfield 1, Crewe 1, Rochdale 1, Colchester 1. Salford City leading Sutton United 2-0. Stockport 2, Northampton 0. Swindon 3, the 10 men of Grimsby 0. Tranmere Rovers 1, the 10 men of Walsall 1. That's at Prenton Park. This is 5 Live in the World Service. Sarmiento on the left-hand side comes away from Gomez, back towards Caicedo. Caicedo now will switch play. The Brighton supporters purring at what they've witnessed. March now with a cross. Welbeck jumps in the air, headed away by Gomez. What a difficult afternoon it's been for Liverpool.
Complete dominance. This is really strange to see. You know, the drop-off of this Liverpool team who have been so good the last 4 or 5 seasons. You know, you wouldn't expect a team with the quality of Liverpool to drop off to this kind of level. You know, questions have to be asked. Big issues for Jurgen Klopp to figure out. But let's take nothing away from Brighton. I think that's 20 goals in the last 7 games, I think now, for Brighton. If you look at De Zerbi, the first 5 games when he came in as manager, they didn't win. Yes, had some difficult games, maybe a reluctance to change too much from the previous manager, but in last 6-7 games just tweaked the system to 4-2-3-1 and it's freed them up no end.
Welbeck to March. Brighton are attacking back towards Welbeck. Welbeck looking to turn. Welbeck does turn and shoots straight at Allison. Again, lovely football, so easy on the eye.
Wave after wave after wave, and it's been like this all after. I feel sorry for Konate back there. He must be dizzy with the amount of Brighton players he's had to deal with this afternoon. It's just been non-stop attacking from Brighton. They've just not been able to contain them, Liverpool. It's been men against boys, it really has. It's been an outstanding performance from them.
We'll bring you the live reaction from the Amex before our 5:30 commentary. Brentford against Bournemouth. Swindon 4, Grimsby 0. Accrington 2, Bristol Rovers 0. They are some of the latest scores in the Football League. Lamptey and Webster wait to come on here for Brighton, who are a club very much on the up.
They certainly are in all departments, really. You look at the infrastructure here now, you look at the recruitment, the players that they're able to source and develop, the style of play, the managers that they're able to kind of bring in to continue that philosophy. It's a very well-run club.
Konate, short diagonal ball to Keita. Liverpool all in red from left to right. Elliott gives the ball away. These are the latest scores in League 1. Accrington 2, Bristol Rovers 0. Bolton lead Portsmouth 3-0. Burton 0, Shrewsbury 3. Cambridge Morecambe was postponed. Charlton 2, Barnsley 0. 3 wins on the spin then for Dean Holden in League 1. Cheltenham 2, Derby 3. Derby looking to extend their unbeaten run to 12. Exeter 1, Forest Green 1, Fleetwood 1, Oxford United 1. Ipswich are leading the leaders Plymouth by a goal to 0. MK Dons 0, Lincoln 0, Wycombe Wanderers 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Sheffield Wednesday would move to within 2 points of Plymouth if it stays like that. The results in the Championship earlier was Rotherham 4, Blackburn Rovers 0. Latest scores in the Championship: Bristol City 4, Birmingham 2. Burnley the leaders lead Coventry 1-0. Cardiff 1, Wigan 0, as we've heard from Laura. Hull City 0, Huddersfield 1, Luton Town 2, West Bromwich Albion 3. They were 2-0 down at Kenilworth Road. Middlesbrough's revival under Michael Carrick continues. 1-0 at home to Millwall is the latest. Preston 0, Norwich City 4, Reading 2, Queen's Park Rangers 2, Sheffield United 2, Stoke City 1, the 10 men of Sunderland 1, Swansea City 3, Watford 1, Blackpool 0. The Olays here for what has been an excellent team display.
I can't believe it's taken so long, Deno. Really can't for the Olays to come out. It's been that dominant.
Liverpool do get it back on the edge of the area, looking for a consolation, trailing by 3 goals to 0. Gakpo to Doak. We're inside the last 60 seconds. Still the 2 substitutions wait to come on for Brighton. Liverpool get a corner. They'll want the clean sheet to make it a perfect afternoon.
Yeah, they certainly will. Didn't get out against Everton. 4-1. Don't get me wrong, fantastic win that was, but De Zerbi will want a clean sheet, and it's been a It's been a dominant performance, it really has.
Penalty at Watford, Aaron Paul.
Penalty to Watford, and it's Ismaila Sarr who stands up against Chris Maxwell in the Blackpool goal. Here comes Sarr just with a low, lazy run up, takes a couple of short steps, plants it across the goal from the goalkeeper. Watford 2, Blackpool 0. The Hornets going to 3 points here.
Tariq Lamptey has come on to replace Matoma, who's got a wonderful ovation. I mean, he has just been a joy to watch with his enterprise, but it's also his endeavours as well, helping out, but just a constant threat. And then they've got a little bit of a confusion surrounding the electronic board to wait the other change. So whilst this other change happens, we're going to nip to Molineux. John Akers.
Wolves 1, West Ham 0. We've just finished the first minute of 6 minutes added here, and West Ham are pushing. Rice has scuffed the volley wide, Skamaka's had a header wide, and then Rice has just put one wide from 25 yards. Wolves 1, West Ham 0.
Webster's come on for Dunk, so play can now resume. Liverpool have a corner kick far side the left. Brighton have been terrific, absolutely terrific.
Well, they have been, and these kind of wins are kind of a measure of your kind of progress as a team. When you come up against top 5, top 6 teams and you can turn them over.
Corner kick hoisted over from the left. The header is well caught by Sanchez. It was Canate who got on the end of it. It was dropping underneath the crossbar, but it was a good take by Sanchez. I mean, they beat Chelsea 4-1 here for his first win, and this is another statement from Brighton.
Yeah, did really well against Arsenal as well, and they are one of those teams in this league who can upset and get results against the top 6 because of the way that they play. So dominant in all departments, and it's not just the goals, it's the manner of the performance, how dominant they've been against a team who lost the league by a point last season, could have broken all records winning the quadruple. Liverpool.
And what an afternoon it's been at the bottom of the table as well, with bottom of the Premier League Southampton coming from behind. Sarmiento picks it up, Welbeck going ahead of him, he'll shoot for goal, and Alisson had to make the save. It was a dipping effort off his right foot from distance, and Alisson dropped to his right, somehow turned it behind for a corner kick.
Yeah, just about got away with that one, Alisson. He's backpedaling. Brighton hungry for more goals, that's the philosophy that they play with. There's no let up, just diving low to his right there. Alisson almost went under his body, just managed to get that around the post.
Solly March has been named man of the match. You could have had several, certainly Matoma, Estepinian. There was a number of candidates for Brighton who lead 3-0. Lee Blakeman at the Bramall Lane.
Game over, Sheffield United 3, Stoke 1, a second for Bogle, ball in from the right, Bogle with a tap in, another win for the home team. Sheffield United 3, Stoke 1.
In comes the corner, flicked on at the near post from Webster, runs out of play for a goal kick. Norwich have beaten Preston 4-0. Watford have got a second goal at home to Blackpool. Watford 2, Blackpool 0, as we heard from Aaron. Fleetwood 1, Oxford United 2. Late goal for Colchester, now leading at Scotland in League 2. Rochdale 1, Colchester 2, and you're up to date. Sports Report is coming up. We're into 3 minutes of added on time, which is almost over, and in fact are over. And Liverpool, a sorry afternoon as their problems continue, but Brighton have been absolutely outstanding. Solly March with 2 goals, Welbeck with a fine third, and their first ever top flight win at home against Liverpool has been gained in a convincing fashion. Danny Gabardon.
And I'm just looking at the body language of these Liverpool players. Canate drops to his knees, Salah's off the pitch, first man off the pitch for Liverpool. They look like a broken team, and that's how dominant that performance was from Brighton Hove Albion. Enough about Liverpool, let's talk about Brighton. What an outstanding performance, dominated from start to finish. Brilliant team performance with individual performances kind of incorporated into that, and it could have been more. 3-0 probably doesn't justify how well that they played, and that is a measure of how far this team has come. Promotion to the Premier League in 2017, and they're a team that is trending in the right direction. Outstanding performance from them. They now go above Liverpool, and who knows what they can achieve this season playing at this level, but problems for Jurgen Klopp to sort out. I think a top 4 this season for Liverpool is going to be very, very difficult for the way that this Liverpool team is playing.
Don't go anywhere. Thank you, Danny. Don't go anywhere, because the live reaction will come here from the Amex before you'll hear it anywhere else. BBC Radio 5 Live. It's finished. Brighton 3, Liverpool 0.